Well, hello everybody, and today I'm going to be showing you guys some replays of some Necron games that I've played online a while back. Um, well, actually, mostly just one. um, so let me see here. So if we load, all you have to do is go to Skirmish and then Recorded Games, which is pretty good. I think it's this one. See. Yeah, okay, cool. Yes, this one. So, I was actually, playing this match against, online, against a player named Coolzig. So, you're gonna see me open up with, 5 generators and then, scarabs and warriors. Just pretty standard. So we're gonna speed it up from here, actually, a little bit. And this gives me the opportunity, while this happens, to, kind of go over here and talk about some of the issues that you're going to see me run into pretty quickly, and that is map control. Because Space Marines have good map control. Well, anybody that's not Necrons has good map control. So now that we sped it up a little bit, I did preemptively build a turret here, just because it would give me some coverage throughout here, just in case he decided to get go a little bit scout heavy and try to pick on my scarabs, or maybe harass a generator. Because Necron warriors are like really slow, so it's just something I'll do sometimes. But it probably was not really all that necessary. Just throwing that out there. So going around capping points, getting some obelisks down. But if we open up the Fog of War here, you can see that I'm like way behind. Like, he's got cover edge, and he's got some LPs going. He's already upgrading some things to LP2. So yeah, it's a pretty crappy situation altogether, just to be Necrons in general, because like yeah, and he clearly wasn't rushing here. He was really going for like some super heavy eco. Although, yeah, but he does poke around with some Space Marines, but he doesn't really commit. And I mean, rightfully so. It wouldn't really accomplish much at the 3-minute mark. So you can clearly see that those Space Marines get chased off, no problem. Turret was there, so they had to back off anyways, and then the warriors just kind of showed up. But yeah, so I'm building another generator, just kind of getting all my stuff online here, and starting to push out a little bit. I do make a couple mistakes though, definitely some big mistakes here. Some good damage on that Space Marine though, so that's always nice. Because like Space Marines, they have decent regen, but overall, avoiding damage if you can is always pretty ideal. And then here comes the third warrior squad, and you're gonna see that this third warrior squad, I kind of just leave over here for a while and then kind of eventually poke around, but I don't really ever commit it much to like the main fighting force, which was in general a mistake. Like, Necro warriors are good, but you really kind of need a little bit of blobbage going on them, and that's kind of what this build is mostly revolving around, is kind of hoarding up for a quick and dirty win. But I do force a cancellation on this, or do I kill it? No, yeah, I get the cancel. And this ends up being like one of the most important locations in the entire map, just like right here. And of course we can see that the scouts here are taking this critical location to force the take and hold victory countdown timer.
Victory countdown has begun.
Yeah, and that's always kind of crappy. But yeah, he's got 2 squads of scouts, 2 squads of Space Marines. So I mean, overall just some pretty standard stuff. And I've got my Necron Lord going around, and I sent him up here first just in case he had a lot of forces just defending it. But yeah, so my Necron warriors go to kind of hold this off because I need this point. I can't let him have this. It's just kind of a position I'm willing to really sacrifice a lot for. And I do take down those scouts, which is nice. So that's some requisition gone. I don't know if that's really like a worth it exchange at all. But at least he got information from that. But yeah, so he's just sitting around this LP2. Because I can't really press on that LP2. I really can't. Because at that point, he'd just be able to respond immediately with something or just start mass reinforcing his stuff, maybe get flamers on his scouts or something like that, and he'd be able to push me back reasonably well. So that LP2 is kind of problematic, but I know where his forces are. They're kind of roughly around here, and I've got my Necron Lord pushing, so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just going to send these guys up a little bit. You know, get these builders over here. And of course, I've got my tier 1.5 going, which is nice, and I think I'm even going into tier 2. Yeah, I'm going into tier 2. And I'm building up these turrets because I basically decided that he's not going to go past here. So I'm going to build, like, 3 turrets, I believe it was. Even though, like, I've changed up my build since then, so usually once I get that blobbage, I just kind of have the builders follow. And realistically, if I played this differently, like how I do in my traditional play today, I probably would have just pushed up and then built like a turret or two like right around here, just with all my builders, and just forced them back further and further and just try to go for a doom push. And I think that probably could have worked out, but you know, so I got the turrets. I've got at least one turret up, so he can't stay on this point any longer. He really can't, because he's not gonna get it. But I'm letting my Lord take too much damage here, but thankfully I teleport him out. Now the warriors here, this one was not supposed to go this way. I just happened to click like right around here or something, and then this warrior squad was just like, yeah, let's just go wander off into their face because pathing. So, you know, but whatever. I've got my summoning core, so I just teleport him right over there. And meanwhile, I just had these guys destroy one of his LPs here. But they should be poking around a little bit, or trying to go converge on with the rest of my forces. But, you know, I'm still being reasonably proactive, but not as active as I could be. Because I should be getting a lot more active with the rest of my warriors. Because, I'm having them in too many kind of, like, iffy fights, and that's power that I have to spend now to reinforce them, even though some of them get back up, which is all fine and cool. But, you know, I kill one of his guys wielding plasma. See his body right there, which is actually really good. And that could have actually been the sergeant. So that's actually kind of nice for me. Meanwhile, you know, I see that his space marines are backing off. He's got plasma going, so it's like, okay, I need to do something with these guys, but I'm just not sure what yet. So I just kind of keep them there as like a living ward. And then here comes the Rhino, but I've already got immortals that have come on the way. And then here's a gigantic mistake I make in my SimCity. So I put my tier 2.5 right here, which is the Greater Summoning Core. That's bad. That's really bad. Like, even though I have this like huge protective ward of you shall not pass, like on the off chance that he does, you know, that's my tier 2.5 that could be gone. That's 350 power. It should be here. And furthermore, I should, you know, if I played this better and wasn't losing warriors left and right, you know, I would have had, you know, my 8th power generator on the way. So just keep that in mind. Try not to take fights that you really don't need to take and take heavy ass losses, because like once you like it adds up so quickly. It's 35 power per warrior. They're slow, so if you have to retreat, whether you teleport or not, you're probably going to take a lot of unnecessary damage. So at this point, it's just like, okay, I gotta pull back my Necrons. This sucks. But I at least do have the immortals. And while they are a little bit more pricey and way more fragile, they just chunk that Rhino. Yeah, and also because units were really close to that, I got the huge scatter. So I sacrificed my Necron Lord just to kind of buy some time from that Force Commander. And I mean, I've got 2 heavy Gauss turrets here and a regular Gauss turret. Like, these guys are not gonna... And I'm more than willing to put my warriors into melee if needed. Even though it's not the ideal. But yeah, this is kind of a problem for me, is that so he's got you know, his guys in that heavy cover, so my range stuff isn't doing nearly as much work as it could. I teleport everything away just to get away from that Force Commander. And I mean, look at how much damage he can do to this. Like, yeah, he chunks the hell out of that. And then, so I decided to show my flayed ones just because I'm just not... I wasn't paying attention to his health, and I didn't need to show my flayed ones. Which is not a unit that you're going to commonly see with Necrons in particular. But, yeah, so... Yeah, they're slow, and they're kind of crappy, I know, but there's a specific way that I like to use them that I think is pretty good. And, there we go, I got a Destroyer online. And, I mean, I've completely skipped out on my +1 for my warriors. And honestly, the research that you can get from the Summoning Core really only does benefit warriors, so I just decided, I can skip it. But yeah, so I'm just kind of chasing them with this, which, you know, I can do a little bit just to ward them off, but I shouldn't, like, overcommit. You know, maybe just try and kill a Space Marine or two, but yeah, this right here, you don't want to take that kind of damage. That's a lot of damage. So, you know, and even if it doesn't seem like a lot of damage, it's just unnecessary damage. And these guys are, you know, 250 a pop. So destroyers are very difficult. But on the bright side, you know, immortals have really fantastic range, so I can just siege. But yeah, so he's got missile launchers now, and this should have been my cue to back off. But you know, I had so much pressure on this one squad that I just decided, okay, we're going. I think for the most part that's actually okay. But yeah, so the flayed ones I kind of messed up there. I should have placed them behind the units, but you roughly see what I'm doing here. They're just there to distract and everything. They teleport back to the monolith. They go back in the monolith, and then you just dump them again. But I've got you know, I've got another destroyer online. And at this point, it's just, you know, once I get that third destroyer, it's like, okay, it's go time. And I've really taken back map control and have really pushed them to the brink here. So this is actually really, really, really good for me. And at this point, you know, I can siege that down. And unfortunately, I'm letting my immortals just tank. But, you know, at this point, I'm just like, okay, well, I need something to, you know, start tanking. But here come those destroyers, and my Necron Lord is on the way again as well, I believe. Yeah, he is on the way, so he's getting back up. And, you know, the destroyers are just wrecking his house. You know, Space Marines are dying left and right. And I mean, so when you're dealing with Space Marines, losing a Space Marine or two really isn't the end of the world for the Space Marine player, but they do have like this critical mass to where, you know, you've really hosed them. So like if you bring them down to like, you know, two or three Space Marines, like you put in a lot of hurt. Unless it's like a fresh squad, then like one model kind of sucks, but like two would be really bad for them. So you just kind of have to think in terms of like how much does their stuff cost, like how much damage and money are you dealing? Because I see the turret, I just decide, okay, yeah, Necron Warrior is just gonna kind of go in there. And then I just drop the flayed ones over here. You know, this is, you know, the end of the road sort of thing here, and he calls the GG. And that'll be that. So, yeah. That's more or less how I decided to play this one. Now, I think this would have been a little bit smoother if I just stuck to committing to warriors and just blobbing up for a doom push with warrior, immortal, and like destroyer. And I probably could have maybe etched out this victory a little bit faster and cleaner. Probably didn't need this turret even. Like, if he didn't rush me by like the 2-minute mark, then, you know, it's kind of whatever. Which means I could have had, you know, the very important generator number 8. Because like plus 90 is kind of the sweet spot, especially once you start getting your global upgrades. But at the end of the day, I do think that these 3 turrets here were actually a really good choice in upgrading this. So I think I'm okay with skipping out on some things here and there. But yeah, that Necron Warrior squad that I just had like over here for like most of the game doing nothing, that was really terrible. And I should have had it involved sooner and just kind of worked a little bit harder, because I could have tried going up through here, poked around, but I never did. I never really scouted this. So I could have tried poking around through here a little bit. I could have pushed a little bit harder earlier. Like, when I got my first Immortal Squad, I probably could have gone for a Doom push had I played it just a little bit more aggressively, especially with the early fighting happening around here. But yeah, I think what ended up being the nail in the coffin for him was overcommitting on this fight here. Because the second he saw those 3 turrets, he should have just said, okay, well, I'm going to get the hell on out of here, and I'm going to go poke around, maybe send some scouts or something, or get that Rhino. Because he could have just sent that Rhino with 2 Space Marine squads, like, all the way into my base and just started blowing my shit up. Or even worse, he could have blown up my Summoning Core, or he could have started taking out some obelisks to slow me down. And those things really, really do. So, you know, it's just a couple things here and there to keep in mind. Like, yeah, but so that's basically how Necrons are gonna play online in a lot of cases. But I do know that a lot of people swear by wraiths. Personally, I just like flayed ones more though. So, you know, it's up to your preferences. Anyways, guys, I think we're gonna leave it at that, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.